Hi, Jason OC Mold Pros. Today I'm going to show you on ocmoldpros.com/resource hub, which is, I don't know if you can see it because my picture is in the way, but the resource hub is right here. So you can go ahead, click on that. It's going to bring you to this page. There's going to be some how-to videos. First video is proper remediation. It's an awesome video. It has 21. That's just the text that comes over. It must have been one of the first things I said. It's a great video. It shows you how remediation is supposed to be done. That video was taken in the house. I'm going to show you what a mold report looks like. Okay, the mold report for that video I'm going to show you right now. Okay, and this is what you get on every inspection done by OC Mold Pros, because we always take air samples, swab samples, tape samples. We want to find out if there's mold in your home. That's why you hired us. Okay, so if we look here, I'm going to talk about this right here. So this first column, these are the different types of molds that are found. This represents hundreds of different molds because some of them are grouped together because they look the same and they're very similar. Okay, so this is a control sample taken from the backyard. 5-minute air sample, control sample. We need that because if we take an air sample from the inside of your home, how do we know if it's high? We don't. We have to go ahead and take a sample from the outside, something to compare that to. Okay. We also know that in this grouping here, there are some of these molds like your aspergillus, your cladosporium. These are hydrophobic molds. They don't like a lot of water. They just like humidity. Meanwhile, these types of molds right here, your Chitomium, Mammalia, Stachybotrys, these molds are water damage indicators. Those like a lot of water. Those like a puddle of water. Kind of mitigated, fixed, remediated in slightly different ways. Okay? We'll talk about that in a minute. So, this particular client calls me up and says, hey, a family member has tested high for mycotoxins. Can you find out what molds, if they're in my house, that might have made them sick? Okay? When molds, some molds make really bad things, molecules called mycotoxins. They're a gas that they make. You can't suck it up in a HEPA vacuum. You have to take care of it in a different way, right? It's really bad. But you can also say that this mycotoxin, like aflatoxin, orlotoxin A, whatever it might be, associates with a particular mold, okay? So you can tell that. You can look at ChatGPT, Google. You can find that information out. It's not a secret. But you have to be able to find the mold in a home, right? See if it's in there. So with that being said, this homeowner said, hey, family member sick, can you find the mold, see if my home has mold? I go, yeah, let's take a look. So as I'm going through and doing thermal imaging, I'm doing my physical inspection, moisture meter along a back wall, I was like, wow, this wall is exhibiting high levels of moisture, right? Compared to other areas. I'm always looking all over, you know, using the moisture meter, putting it in a lot of different areas to see comparatively, is this high or low? Okay, so we find a lot of moisture in that back wall. So I take off an outlet cover and I sniff. I use my nose. I know what mold smells like. Earthy, musty, right? It was there in a big way. And I'm like, okay, I have to now bring my air sampling unit to that outlet. And then I have a special straw that goes in the wall. And I take an air cavity, a wall cavity sample of air from that wall. Okay? Because I want to know what's in there. And you're like, what was in there? Tell us. Okay, here it is. So we look, we have huge levels of mold. I don't know if you can see this. Okay? This is 15,000. This is 31,000. Okay? I consider things to be high. When there's none outside, like there's none. Even if it was 1,000, this is 15,000. This means the inside is 15 times greater than the outside. But there's none here, which means there's 15,000 more mold spores per meter cubed than there is outside. Okay, just that's high. That's the smoking gun, along with this one right here. This is another one. These two molds like humidity. Okay, 15,000. We got 46,000 mold spores. And yes, they are kicking out mycotoxins. And yes, they're getting in the housing envelope. Okay, so the video that I showed you earlier at the beginning of the video, that was the company that came in and remediated which meant they fixed the mold problem that these guys had. They took it down from 46,000 down to less than 100. Awesome. Dehumidifying, drying out, HEPA air filter, antimicrobial, containment so that it doesn't make a mess of the house. They had to take out the sheetrock and do all that stuff. And within a couple days, problem solved. Okay, now they have to keep that wall dry. It was because there was a hose, the exterior exterior sprinkler system had been sprinkling up against the stucco. That moisture migrated into the wall cavity. There was also some openings. It just got wet in there, moist for an extended period of time. And then mold spores got in there from the outside, caused a huge issue. Okay, that's how it came to be. But because we were able to go ahead and get to the mold problem, because here's the deal. If you take an air sampling device, set it up in the middle of the room, it would have never in a million years caught this right here. It would have never got that. Because at best, you're taking an air sample in the middle of the room in about this big of a space. I've tried it. It's a $1,000 specialized vacuum. It's not that strong. It's not a Dyson. Okay? So that air gets pulled into there, but now that I put the straw into that wall cavity, now I'm taking an air sample directly from the source. I want to know how much, right? I know that there's mold in there. I want to know how much and what kind it is, and we found that out. We got somebody to fix it, and we were successfully remediated it. They successfully. Because I just inspect, I tell the story, and we go from there. So, happy outcome, really good. Last thing, I'm gonna actually make another video about this and talk about humidity and what that means to mold and how that plays into it. So, this is a mold report along with the remediation video. I hope that answers a lot of questions. And if you have any questions, call me. 949-371-5934. Jason, OC Mold Pros. Thanks.